Welcome back to the Takus McGinnis Elder Care Law Hour, where we explore the many issues related to aging, disability, and unexpected illness. I'm attorney Chris Johnson.
And I'm Barbara McGinnis. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about alternative therapies and maybe some little-known therapies and resources for dementia patients. With us in this segment is Colleen Bridges, who is a certified trainer for Rock Steady Boxing. So welcome, Colleen. Tell us about what is Rock Steady Boxing and how does it play a part?
Sure. Well, and thank you for welcoming me to your program. It's exciting to talk about our program. So Rock Steady Boxing is a unique exercise program that incorporates the elements of boxing to fight the motor and non-motor symptoms of Parkinson's.
So I think a lot of people want to know, why boxing? It's not what you'd consider the traditional exercise for the elderly.
Right, exactly. And first of all, let me just say, we're not hitting each other. We're not contact boxing. But if you go back to a research study that ESPN actually did long before Rock Steady Boxing was an actual program, they discovered that boxing is the most difficult sport there is to do.
Wow.
And yeah,
Really?
and it just so happens that everything a pro boxer works on is the same thing that someone living with Parkinson's deals with every single day.
Wow. So tell us more about the studies.
Okay. So there are multiple studies out there that support the idea of Rock Steady Boxing formula, I guess you could call it. But the one that most people are probably familiar with is the one done by Dr. Jay Albert, who is a physician at the Cleveland Clinic. And he talks about how forced intense exercise is the most beneficial form of exercise for people living with Parkinson's. And forced intense exercise probably sounds a little harsh, so let me explain that.
Yeah.
All it means is that my job as a coach and a trainer is that I am to push my boxers, or my fighters as I call them, to work harder than they would on their own. What happens is they get a dopamine dump, and a dopamine is the neurotransmitter that they are lacking, that you and I have plenty of so that we can move about and do all the things that we need to do, but they're lacking that neurotransmitter.
Wow.
Interesting. So Parkinson's can be a very difficult and debilitating disease. Considering that, can anyone join your class? Is there a limit as they go down the Parkinson's spectrum?
You know, that's the great thing about Rock Steady Boxing, is that it is open to anybody living with Parkinson's. And I'll add on that we actually welcome their care partners to come and join in the class for no additional charge, because being a care partner is very difficult and exhausting, and they need to exercise as well. But getting back to the Parkinson's patient, anyone is welcome. I have ages 44 to 87.
Wow.
And there's all levels of the disease, I guess you could call it, and they come in with that fighting spirit and they just knock the bag out. Or we have very specific exercises that we do for Parkinson's to work on posture and gait and fall prevention and balance, because nobody wants to fall.
Right.
And so we also do exercises to work on mental acuity, some cognitive skills, and then some of them deal with vision issues. They have double vision, or they have depth perception issues, or they have tracking issues, which can once again make their balance difficult if they don't see a step or something, and so then they fall. So we'll do exercises very specific to what they're dealing with, not just boxing.
So that's really interesting. I knew the component of the cognitive or the memory impairment with Parkinson's. I didn't realize they had visual problems related to the disease as well.
Right, because your eye is a muscle.
Yeah.
So basically, and not everybody's affected by Parkinson's the same way.
Sure.
We have a saying that just because you've met one person with Parkinson's means you've met one person with Parkinson's. You might have somebody who has a tremor, and maybe their voice is a part of the problem. It's very soft. But then the next person, they may have dyskinesia. Like if you think of Michael J. Fox, he moves a lot, so dyskinesia, or maybe rigidity is their real issue. So everyone's different, but we focus on as many symptoms as possible.
So being such a new type of therapy, is it covered by insurance, or is this something that someone has to private pay for?
It is not covered by insurance, but I'll tell you what, we do not turn anyone away. We are so blessed to have the Peterson Parkinson's Foundation, which is a local foundation, and then the National Parkinson's Foundation, they both sponsor our scholarship fund. So if somebody can't afford to take the class, we do have a monthly membership, then all they got to do is tell me, and we make that scholarship fund happen for them, because we do not want anyone to not receive the therapies that are so beneficial for them just because of money.
How wonderful is that? So what does it cost for a monthly membership?
So
cost?
monthly membership is $150 a month, and they get unlimited amount of classes. So they can most of the time come up to about 4 to 5 times a week. And we have one of my coaches is a bodywork therapist, which is kind of like a massage therapist on steroids. But what's so great about him is if somebody comes in and they say, you know, my shoulder's really bothering me, then he'll pull them aside and he'll work on them specifically for 15, 20 minutes. And that's no extra charge to them. And then we hold monthly or quarterly lunch and learns where we provide lunch for them, and we have a fun topic or a guest, you know, singer or something like that. So we give them an opportunity to be a part of a community.
I've spoken at one of those before.
Yes.
So do you need a physician's order?
No, the only time I ask for a physician's order is if somebody's recently had a stroke or a heart attack.
Okay. Other medical issues to make sure they've got clearance to participate.
And we do go, this is really important for everybody to know, is that we do a formal assessment. When they call me, I'll set up a time with them for them to come in, and we'll go over a health history. I want to know everything about them, because not only are we a group class, but we are able to individualize their routine if needed. So it's important for me to know everything that's going on in their body, because there's lots more going on besides Parkinson's sometimes.
Yeah.
And then we do some exercise tests that might be similar to something that a physical therapist might do. And then we put the boxing gloves on and we get to boxing.
How wonderful. Well, let's get down to, I think, the most important question, which would be, how can someone find a Rock Steady boxing class near them?
Yes. If they do not live in the Nashville area, the best thing to do would be to go on the internet and type in rocksteadyboxing.org, and then under the tab Find a Class, they can type in their zip code and it'll pull up the classes that are near them. And we have over 800 affiliates around the world.
Wow.
So yeah, the great thing is when my boxers go to the beach or they go on a trip, usually there's a Rock Steady there, and I say, you're going to do your Rock Steady classes on vacation, right? So, but if they're here in the Middle Tennessee area, they can contact me at Music City at rsbaffiliate.com, or they can call me at 615-944-3284.
Just out of curiosity, so where are some of the other countries where Rock Steady boxing exists?
Israel, Japan, Australia, I think Britain and Ireland. I think they've just gotten one in Scotland.
That is incredible.
Yeah. Isn't that pretty awesome?
So what about the training requirement to be a Rock Steady boxing coach?
So if somebody wants to teach Rock Steady boxing classes, it's really important that they are a certified personal trainer or a physical therapist, or even a doctor. I've had doctors come and observe my class to see if it's something that they could start in their area, or an occupational therapist, because it requires some information, some training. So I would say that before teaching a group class, somebody definitely needs to have practice doing it one-on-one, because you get all kinds of issues that you've got to be able to be prepared for and be able to modify in a moment's notice so that your fighters can get the most out of class. So I would definitely say they need to be certified trainers.
And just one question about, I know we're getting like in the last couple of minutes, but so they get unlimited classes. How long does the benefit of the class, the dopamine dump, how long does that last? Do they have to come every day to maintain a certain level?
That's a great question, and it's different for each person depending on where they are in the disease. I had one lady tell me yesterday that if she comes to Rock Steady at least twice a week and then does her walks and maybe goes and does some boxing on her own in her garage, then she always feels really good. She might be a little, have some rigidity issues in the morning time, but she says throughout the day she functions really well. Then there's others that will say, okay, I went to class yesterday, I felt really good the following day, but by the second day, I'm starting to experience my symptoms. So it can really be from anywhere from 24 hours to whatever, depending on how often they exercise.
And this is not a replacement for medicines, this is adjunct therapy.
No, but exercise is medicine, and it's something that we have to take every day. So combined with medicines and even specific physical therapy, it works wonderful for them.
Right. That is amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Thank you,
Colleen. In our next segment, we're going to be discussing pet therapy. Don't go away.
Workers want it.